2 minutes until showtime. One minute until showtime.
Yay! That was a real weak 96. I know we can do better than that. I know the weather is not good. It gets everybody down, but let's give it a shot. One more time. Let's break 100. Yeah. All right, 105. That's more like it. Thank you, guys.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, from the world's most famous beach, from where beach racing began, it's the Legends of Racing radio show. Live from racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill in Ponce Inlet, Florida. The Legends of Racing radio show. And your host, Buzz McKim. And co-host, Rich Combs.
Hey, Rich. Good to have Rich back today. That's great. He was gone last week, taking care of business.
Oh, yeah. We opened a new pizza joint in Hilton Head last week.
Did you really?
Yes, sir.
How's the pizza?
Pizza's wonderful, but let me tell you, when you go for test tasting, you say, I can eat all the pizza I want. I got it. Second day, you don't want any more pizza. That don't even let me look at one, but we got a good pizza joint going.
Oh, that's great. Well, we should have a lot of luck with it.
Top Dog Pizza in Hilton Head.
Top Dog. Okay,
Yep.
We'll keep that in mind. Very good. You got a good location.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
That's super. Yeah, well, hey, we got a special guest today. We are so honored to have Mr. Vic Kangas with us today. This guy, I mean, you talk about a great story. You're gonna hear some cool stuff today. That's for sure. First, I got a little bit of business to take care of. This segment's being brought to you locally by, let me see, who is it? It's Staples on International Speedway Boulevard. Anything for the office, they can hook you up. And also, it used to be where you go to Facebook to listen to the show, and we've been having a lot of problems lately. So we're going to YouTube now, starting today. If you go to YouTube, go to Legends of Racing Radio Show and hit subscribe, and we would really appreciate that. But you can pick up any one of our 300 some odd shows on YouTube. Yeah. So that's our new deal right there.
It's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll work out really well. A couple of things. We start off on kind of a downer. Eddie Gossage, who was the president of Texas Motor Speedway for a number of years, passed away suddenly last night at 65. That's not very old. In fact, that's not old at all, is it?
No.
No. And then Lightning Epton, 103 years old. We had to say goodbye to her this week. She started at the Speedway in 1959 selling tickets, and she didn't get to see her first race until like 2007 because she said, I was in the booth selling tickets. I couldn't go out and watch the race. But her husband, Joe Epton, was the head of timing and scoring for a number of years, and they preceded NASCAR. Joe started out at the Spartanburg, South Carolina Fairgrounds back in 1946. And then when NASCAR was formed in 48, he came over and went to work for NASCAR And if you look on the very first race report, Joe Epton signed it, and Lightning was there. So she was a major piece of history.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Amazing gal, that's for sure. Did you know Lightning, Vic?
No, I didn't.
No? Well, she was quite a gal.
Is this thing working?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
you're doing fine.
All right.
Everybody can hear Vic, right? Yeah, okay. So how you been?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
Working away.
Oh, yeah? Are you still with Bobby?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Is he treating you right?
Well, why not? I've been there 23 years. So
Have you really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. It's amazing.
Yeah. Got to put out those games.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob Space Racers, the greatest in arcade games. It's the Whack-A-Mole. If you know about Whack-A-Mole, they're the folks who do that.
Oh,
and they've done real good. He started out in his garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite a guy, and a lot of it is thanks to you and all the work that you do for him up there.
Well, me and a lot of others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before we get too far, let me introduce this guy to these other people because a lot of folks don't know who you are. And I'm just floored being here. This says Legends of Racing. You're it. You're the sign. We don't even need this back here. You're Legends of Racing. Just to think about the people he's worked with. Al Unser Sr., Greg Sachs, Tommy Riggins, Steve Millen, Gene Felton, Ray Hendricks, Ron Bouchard, Elliott Ford Robinson, Joe Nemechek, and the list goes on. Those are just the guys I know. This is a guy turned wrenches. These guys won a lot of championships. Thank you. He has numerous.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not even to the good stuff yet, folks. I'm telling you, we got a guy here. He's got multiple track championships. At some places, multiple for that same track. Northeast All-Star Racing League, they won that championship. He's not only run NASCAR, Cup cars, Busch cars, modified cars. He's also run IMSA, the crew chief winner at Miami Jeep Grand Prix, at Columbus Grand Prix. I mean,
wow.
Road racer and circle track racer. 1992 Busch Grand National champion with Joe Nemechek running. That's pretty good. I mean, that's all we needed. Okay.
That's right.
And then in 2011, the Northeast Automobile Racers Association inducted him into their Hall of Fame. We know some of those guys. They've been here before.
Yeah, Hall of Famer. That's awesome.
As Mike Boland said the other day, we had a Hall of Famer in here for flying airplanes, but he was racing.
Yeah.
Mike says, I don't care where he races next, I'm going. If he's a Hall of Famer, I'm going to be there. And that's how we all feel. So you're the sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that a good enough indication?
Oh, that's awesome. Great intro. Thank you, Rich. That's super. So how did you get started in this racing business? Were you just a kid?
Oh, yeah. I took my bicycle and rode it to the racetrack.
Which one?
Back then it was Brookline Speedway.
Oh, really?
1957. And my uncle was the driver.
Was he any good?
Yeah, we finished second in one big race, and that was about
really?
the big highlight of that deal. But hey, you got to start somewhere.
Sure.
I tried driving once, but that didn't impress me too much. Those walls are a little bit too hard for my feelings.
Yeah, really.
But for you guys who are old racers, you've been out there, you've seen it, this guy's done it. I just asked him a few minutes ago about the first race car he ever bought. 15 years old?
14.
14 years old,
Wow.
paid $15 for it. His uncle drove it in the first race they ran. They came in second, and it was what was the car?
46 Ford Coupe.
Oh, son of a gun. I'll be darned.
Wonderful racing.
Yeah. It's starting off on the ground floor for sure. Were you the crew chief back then?
I don't know. we didn't have crew chiefs.
No, I guess not. Not in those days.
You had workers.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Anybody you could pick up, anybody who was breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, put them into service. That's
Well,
for sure.
On my way to the racetrack, I was elected to sit in the race car because we use a tow bar.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh.
I had to sit there and watch the steering go on its own, you know.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So when did you know that this is what you wanted to do? Was it right off the bat?
I don't know. You could probably ask my wife that.
Okay. Yeah.
The first date we went on, I went to a racetrack, so I kind of give her the hint.
Oh, yeah, that would do it. Yeah. But it's been all uphill since then, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And is she a race fan?
I would hope so, yeah.
Don't have a lot of choice, right?
Well, I made a deal with Billy Dingman when I went to work for him.
Dingman, yeah.
If I'm going to be on your team, I want my wife to travel too.
Great.
So
Well, that's sweet.
he found a thing for her to do at the track,
Mm-hmm.
you know, scoring and food prep, and
Jeez.
so she went everywhere we went.
Well, that's awesome.
And she's here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, raise your hand there. There we go. He couldn't have done what he did without you, that's for sure. That's how it is with most racers, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Yeah. I bet those were some pretty good days when you were traveling, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did a lot of side trips, especially when I worked in that IMSA racing. You didn't race all out every week. You had maybe a week or two in between.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we were in California, we were able to go to Catalina and stuff and enjoy
Oh, no kidding.
enjoy some of that type of stuff. You know?
Oh, man, that's great.
Yeah,
That's super. So how was Dingman to work for? Pretty good guy?
good guy.
Yeah, he had a lot of money.
Well, I don't know how much he had, but it worked well enough. Plus, we had Pontiac was our sponsor.
Right. Right. Who was the driver?
We had numerous drivers. He made a list of
And I've just got a short list. This is a big list.
yeah.
Yeah.
Started out with Tommy Riggins was
Oh,
one
yeah,
of our
out
drivers.
of Jacksonville, right.
Yeah, and then later on when we raced the Fierro, Bob Earl was our
Oh, really?
driver.
Uh-huh. You ran a Fierro.
Yeah,
I bet that was interesting.
yeah. It was a V6 Pontiac engine.
Yeah, fiberglass body or a plastic body?
Yeah, the chassis was built in England by Spice Engineering,
Oh, yeah.
and a lot of their engineers came from March Racing.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
we had some pretty good equipment.
I guess. Yeah, Bob Earl could get the job done, that's for sure.
I made him get a little mad at me when we went to Atlanta and did a test. We went out and tested the car, and when the testing was done with the people from England, Billy Dingman knew that I had done some research on my own.
Uh-huh.
So he said, "Go ahead and do what you want to do to the car, and we'll run it again." So I made some front end adjustments and some rear adjustments, and he went out and picked up a second and a half
Holy
lap.
cow.
That's
Jeez.
when the English engineers slammed their briefcases shut and left.
I bet you loved every minute of it too, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's great. How did you know what to do, though? That's the amazing part. It's just
I've had
inbred.
a good education with a lot of good people,
Mm-hmm.
and you really got to understand what's going on in the car to start with.
Yeah, sure.
And I studied a lot of old books, and I had a friend that was in England during the war, Second World War, and he had an opportunity to look at a lot of that stuff, you know, the Formula One cars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So he had a lot of good common sense and passed it on to me.
I'll be darned. Well, you had to be a good student, though. That's the thing. You know, you could get all the information you want thrown at you, but you got to be able to absorb it and apply it.
Yeah, I was pretty serious.
I guess. That's
Well,
right.
the English racers at that time didn't have big engine cars. They didn't have a lot of horsepower, so they really focused on handling and how you
Yeah.
get. So a lot of the chassis that were built early in life were, came from England in the thought processes they had.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, AC motors, Carroll Shelby took the AC ASEA and put a small block in it and called it a Cobra.
Yeah.
Well, their next line of cars, they had a car that looked just like a Fiero, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly what they called it. But for a long time, guys who were in England who were trying to race those cars, well, they would call me in the U.S. I happened to have a connection with them. They wanted to get Fiero parts.
Oh, really?
To fit in because they couldn't get parts.
Yeah.
The thing is, none of them ever worked.
Oh, no.
It was a waste of time. But
Yeah.
and I haven't seen one of those cars in a long time. Do you remember what the name of that car was?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No.
It looked just like a Fiero.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Well,
Same body shape, everything.
The Fiero that we raced, there was nothing on it that resembled a Fiero.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Well, the Spice chassis, then we had a Hewland differential.
Oh.
So all the change gears and stuff you could change in the back of the car, and the driver would come in and talk to you about what his ratios were between corners and stuff, and you'd have to go to a big cache of gears and pick out the ones that you're going to run to make the difference in the because you're always trying to get it to be at peak performance.
Well, I'm an old road racer. I've run Hewland rear ends.
Yeah.
I should say differentials in them. You just you pull the back plate off, and there are all your gears, and you can change your gears. I had a box of gears,
Yeah.
and you're trying to get that gear thing right. And when you come in, you're drawing what we call a sawtooth thing. You're trying to get your RPM and your next shift and how you get it up, and you can make a lot of difference.
Oh, boy.
And so a box of 20 gears, and you come in and you change it out in 5 or 10 minutes. It's not, that's the way it worked.
Yeah, it worked good, except the only thing, they were awful hot when they come in.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That would be kind of tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, did you go to school for any of this, or is it just a natural ability? Just a school of hard knocks?
No, I was a school teacher once.
You were? Oh, but darn.
Yeah.
I bet that was an interesting class, huh?
Oh, yeah. That was right after we raced in Winston Cup with Ron Bouchard. We finished, I think, 8th in points. And
Wow.
my next job was a school teacher.
I'll be darned. Was it a vocational school?
It was.
Uh-huh. Well, we need more of that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely
Absolutely.
do. Yeah. How long did you do that?
For about 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
then-
with the
then
kids.
I got a call back from Ronnie's team owner there.
Yeah.
The one that owned the 47 cars.
Oh, sure. The Jack Beebe.
Beebe, yeah.
Yeah, right.
He called me and asked me if I wanted to go move to Charlotte and work on their new team down there.
Oh, buddy.
Fix.
So I went.
Pull your mic up a little bit there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Vic Kangas, everybody.
Hey.
Yeah.
So you, okay.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. At Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees, it's all about making you happy. Beach Boys Embroidery can customize your athletic golf apparel, caps, hats, badges, buttons, magnets, backpacks, bags, totes, clocks, watches, and of course, T-shirts. Sure, they're at 2033 South Ridgewood Avenue in South Daytona, and they're waiting for you to call now. 386-255-5880. Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees. Let Aloha Marine get you on the water with huge discounts on great brands like Bayliner, Carolina Skiff, Hurricane, Key West, and Regal. Pay as little as $169 a month with 10% down and approved credit. Don't wait. Get to Aloha Marine, 1700 North Nova Road, Holly Hill, Monday through Saturday. 47 years and always better than boat show prices. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Rich Combs.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. We're here with Vic Kangas, having a grand old time, and haven't even scratched the surface as to what his career was all about. That's for sure. Now, are you originally from Massachusetts?
Yep.
Yeah, a little town.
Yeah, just outside of Fitchburg.
Oh, Fitchburg. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't Bouchard from up around there?
He was from Fitchburg too.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Now you working for Jack Beebe? Did you work for Bob Johnson?
No, I came there just after he left.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He departed, and they asked me if I'd come along and help. So I was in Florida on vacation.
Yeah.
And I brought my family with me, and we went to Disney and all that stuff. And Ronnie said, when you come down, he said, why don't you come over the track and give us a hand?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it started. We ended up finishing third in the Firecracker 400.
Wow, no kidding. Yeah, Ron Bouchard, great race driver. Huh?
Yeah, and we probably had a chance of doing even better than that, but third was pretty good, and Jack Beebe asked me if I was interested in going to work for him.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you match what I'm making right now, I'll go to work for you.
Yeah. Where were you working at the time?
American Can.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, making cup machinery.
Is that right? Oh, son of a gun, isn't that something?
Yeah.
So you're really a man of all trades, aren't you?
Well, machinist and assembler and whatever, you know.
Yep. That's amazing. And so how long were you with Race Hill?
I don't know. I think I was with him for 2 years, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say that you were never out of work.
No.
Well, somebody'd always pick you up.
Well, while I was working for Jack Beebe, I had an offer to come to Florida and work for Dingman.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to double my pay.
Really?
Pretty tough to turn that down.
Boy, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, we did the great race back in '04 from Jacksonville to Monterey, California, 2-week rally. And in the 35 Ford, and Dingman would always start right in front of us. So we got to know him pretty well. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And we both got off course one time. So here in North Florida, and we're romping through. You're supposed to be a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, and we're trying to get back on the course. And I'm drafting him going down the road through the pine trees, and we finally got caught back. But it gave us something to talk about for sure.
He ended up having to stop driving himself, and I guess having a lot of liability with a lot of people working for him, you know, with the car dealerships and so forth.
Yeah, sure.
That he decided to start hiring drivers, you know.
Well, he had something to do with Valvoline, too, I think, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And didn't Ron Bouchard drive for him also?
We got Ron to drive the car in one 24-hour race. And when it come time for him to jump in the car during the race, the transmission was already broke. He didn't know it. He left pit road. And he come on the radio and he said, "There's something wrong here."
Oh man, I bet he was disappointed.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
This was the 24 Hours of Daytona, right?
Yep.
Man, oh man.
Winner. Yeah.
Is that right?
Winner at 12 Hours of Sebring also.
Holy cow! Who was the driver for you?
Well, we had Steve Millen drove for us at Sebring.
Really?
And I remember him coming in on the back of a wrecker. What had happened, when he's going down one of them long runways,
Right.
Something in the steering broke, and it caused him to spin out. And he said he turned many colors before he was able to stop. But he was a good driver. He won a race for us in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh,
on
did
a
he?
street course, yeah. Yeah,
That's
he was
amazing.
New Zealander.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Yeah, that Sebring course was, well, I don't know how it is now, but it was always rough. It was an old Air Force base with
Yep.
with expansion strips between the concrete slabs, and it's just like going down a bumpy road. I can see where it would break some of the suspension parts.
Yeah.
It was very difficult. And, you know, for the 24-hour race, typically you'll have 4 drivers.
Right.
And you have one driver that's called the Rabbit. That's your fast guy. Usually you start him and then you try to finish with him. And you might have a second Rabbit that you can use in there.
Yeah.
I got invited to run one time with the team out of Athens, Georgia. And I says, why in the world did you pick me?
Yeah.
And the guy says, well, you know, we know you're not our Rabbit. Well, okay, so I'm slow, right? I mean, that's what you're telling me. He says, you're going to be running at night because what we want is someone who can keep pace and bring the car home. We know you can do that. So
Right.
once again, I'm thinking, you know, I'm just a chauffeur. I'm not a racer. Well, I didn't do it because you had to be here on Wednesday night before to do a night test with your eyes.
Oh, really?
I had a business I was running. I couldn't take off and be here and do that and race too. So I said, well, I'm out. I think maybe they were happy. That was okay.
Oh.
But I missed it 24 hours, and
I'll
it was
be darned.
back about that time. So
You often wonder what it would have been like?
I do. I wished I'd have done it, but there again, I needed to make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I stayed with my business, and it worked out. But yeah. The good thing is, you know, I'm not the Rabbit. I don't know who your Rabbit was, but maybe it was Steve Millen, and he was a hell of a driver.
He was, yeah. We had a lot of good drivers. Elliot Forbes Robinson was one of
boy.
our drivers, and he did a good job for us. I mean, he was very good on feedback. You know, he could tell you what the car needed.
Yes.
And that's all a mechanic needs, is a little inkling on what to fix, you know.
Yep. Did you enjoy road racing? It looked like you did an awful lot of it.
I did it, you know, and I'm glad I did, because there's so much more that needs to be known about the car when you're doing a road race.
Right.
Because you're going both corners, you know,
yeah.
both ways.
Right.
And so you had a lot of opportunities to really expand your horizons as far as knowledge.
I'll be darned. Now, what you learned with road racing, could you apply that to cup racing?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the first time we went, well, in Bush Series with Joe, when we went to Watkins Glen, he qualified second, which was pretty good, actually, because he hadn't done a lot of road racing, you know. I think he did some on some short tracks here in Florida, but yeah, he was quite happy with that. And, you know, we finished, I think, second or third in the race, too.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So if you give them the right car, they're going to do something with it.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta, well, it was, I'm a suspension kind of guy, you know. And I really did a lot of research, and, you know, there's a lot of old books that you can go to a library and pull up these old photos and interesting stuff about the old cars and why they had them built like they did, you know,
right.
all the front end theories and all that.
Yeah.
And I really kind of studied that, and it seemed to have helped me through the years.
Jeez. A lot of geometry.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing because, I mean, physics is physics, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, Colin Chapman wrote a lot of those books.
Oh,
I'm telling
boy.
you.
Yeah.
And the young road racers would always get those books, and because basically you were handling your own car, didn't have an expert like this to help you. You
Well,
know.
I got his books too.
Yeah.
Oh, did you really? Yeah. So the club racers, they're just there by themselves basically. They might have a friend come by and maybe give them a hand, but they have to know all the ins and outs if they're going to be competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
it's road racing is quite a sport, and it does take you different ways because, typically in this area we see round and round racing. We see the Roval at Charlotte, and we see the road course but they don't have all of the turns that a true road race will have. Elevation changes both in height and in depth, and
sure.
Off-camber turns.
Mm-hmm.
You bring a car that's set up for a round and round course, and you got bank turns, and the first time you go into a off-camber turn, your butt's in the wall. So.
Yeah.
Were there's some tracks harder than others to set up for?
Sure. Yeah. I had a pretty good lock on Bristol. I could make the cars work good there.
Mm-hmm.
Bristol was really fast for the size of the track.
Oh,
it was only
sure.
a half-mile track, and you're going through the corners probably 130 miles an hour.
Boy.
So
That's amazing. Yeah, what did Mark Martin say? It was flying a jet plane inside a gymnasium.
pretty much, yeah.
That's about it. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Vic Kangas, everybody.
Hey!
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Racing's original North Turn is our broadcast headquarters. If you're looking for a good drink, great entertainment, and the best in food, they're right on the beach at Racing's Original North Turn. Come on down to dinner tonight. Here are a couple of testimonials. These are actual testimonials from people who have enjoyed the North Turn. Been there many times, always great food and drinks, great location on the beach. And another, what a great experience. It's my new favorite restaurant in the Daytona Beach area, Racing's Original North Turn on South Atlantic Avenue. That's A1A in Ponce Inlet, about 3.2 miles south of the Dunlawton Bridge and A1A intersection. It's Racing's Original North Turn, a restaurant, museum, bar, gift shop, live music. That's Racing's North Turn. Racing's Original North Turn has been voted by you Best Beach Bar Top 10 year after year after year. We're back from where it all began. Racing's Original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Rich Combs.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. We do appreciate that. This segment's being brought to you locally by Daytona Flea and Farmers Market. You've been there, haven't you?
Oh,
Flea
yeah.
and Farmers Market?
Yeah.
Yeah, voted one of the top 5 markets in the country, in the whole country, by USA Weekend. And visit our Shop Now network and our Shop Now at Daytona Flea and Farmers Market Facebook page for the latest in vendor tours. Yeah, I imagine you can get almost anything you want out there at the flea market.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Everything but human body parts. I don't think you could pick up a liver or anything like that, So, hey, we got Tony here. It's Tony time.
Tony!
Hey, Tony. Hey, you got a question for Vic?
Body parts are probably only available on the garage sale day, I would think. Yeah. Vic, you worked with a guy I've kind of been fascinated with, Gene Felton.
Yeah.
I got fascinated with him because he ran an ad in the back of Winston Cup Scene selling refurbished Cup cars and Xfinity cars.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was the greatest idea in the world.
Yeah, he drove for us at Charlotte and stuff, but what you're talking about, he got out of racing himself and decided to start doing a reconstruction of these older cars. It worked out good for him. He did a lot of them.
Yeah, he had a heck of a business there for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
He road raced an AMC Gremlin.
Huh.
Were you involved with that at all?
No. No, he drove for Billy Dingman.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that Gremlin, you don't expect that to be a race car. It made a good modified body,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Well,
But,
Bobby Allison used them in the road race here at Daytona.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a point there.
They had IMSA had a series, and I think they call that series Rally Sport at the time, RS. And it was made for those type of cars, and they missed the AMC cars. They sort of set it up for Ford Pintos, a four-cylinder job.
Right.
I worked on a team that had a Ford Pinto, and the Gremlins had a six-cylinder engine.
Oh, geez.
Massive power difference. So there was 2 races going on.
Right.
The fans just didn't know about it, but they were fast cars.
No kidding. I'll be darned. Now, how about the Mazdas with the Wankel engines? Were they in that same group?
They were pushed out of that.
Were they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know they used to run IMSA.
Yeah.
And we used to work the first turn caution tower there at the Speedway. And when they came out of the infield out onto the big track, the whole tower would vibrate with the way that thing screamed. It absolutely screamed.
Yeah, they'd come out and rev it up right next to you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But Gene Felton, though, what a fantastic talent he was.
He was, yeah.
Probably one of the top 5 road racers the
He
country's
was
ever
one
produced.
of the original drivers, along with Billy Dingman.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, back when they had Camaros and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know, I took a road racing school from him.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
I'll be darned.
And Gene was a nice guy, and he was a good teacher. And you know, he puts you out on the course and shows you where he shows you the line, what you should be doing.
Yep.
For me, he says, get out of the car and get in the seat beside. We were running Road Atlanta, and he got in to drive it. Scared me living to death. I thought I was fast, and he took me for a ride and scared me in the car. He was good. That was right after he had broken his neck, could hardly talk, if you remember that.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. He used to come into the archives every year during Speed Week and go through files and look at his own file and all that. And we got to be pretty good friends.
Yeah.
He was
nice
a
guy.
Really great person. That's for sure.
And married Linda Sharp.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
And then
didn't
Linda
realize
passed
that.
away too,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She was a reporter for the Atlanta Journal and reported on racing.
Yeah.
And you think, who is this girl?
Yeah.
And I would see her race, and then she ended up marrying Gene. She became a better racer after she married him.
I can imagine. She got special attention. That's for sure. So you never really wanted to race, though. You never wanted to drive, huh?
No.
Just happy to make them go fast, right?
Well, you can't do it all.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think,
true.
there's some people that think they can, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The closest I've seen come to that is maybe like Kyle Busch. He used to work on his own cars, and he's a pretty
That's
good
right.
racer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bobby Allison's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you ever work on the modifieds, or the super modifieds that run at Oswego? You ever give that a shot?
No, but we raced there, though, with our regular modifieds that we ran up north. I went there once with Kenny Bouchard driving one of Dick Armstrong's cars.
Oh, boy.
And he got sideways in one of the corners, and he stopped, and car hit him right in the driver's door. He ended up in a hospital for a couple of weeks.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he was in pretty bad shape after that. But he survived, and he ended up racing modifieds and cup cars and everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, got Rookie of the Year.
Good racer.
Yeah, that's for sure. And but you, I think you probably have a soft spot in your heart for Ron Bouchard, though, don't you?
Sure, yeah. We won 4 championships together.
Is that right?
Yeah, back to back.
No kidding. Whereabouts, up in New England?
Yeah, Seekonk Speedway.
Was that the place that was the Concrete Palace?
Yes.
Yeah, the guy who owned it, Mr. Venditti, he was a concrete guy, and he made everything out of concrete.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, it'll last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But out of all the road races that I work with, the one that I enjoyed working the most was with Al Unser Sr.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. How'd
Well,
that come about?
Well, Dingman needed a driver for Riverside, and his name come up on the deal with the Valvoline. The Valvoline had something to do with it, I'm sure.
Right.
So we put him in the car, and he was such a professional. When he'd get through running a practice run, he'd stand next to the car, and you could talk to him, and then he'd go stand by the fence with his wife or girlfriend or whatever it was at the time.
Right.
And when you got ready to go back out again, he'd come over, get in the car.
No, son of a gun.
We were running in the top 10 during the race, and we had a camshaft problem.
Oh.
I don't know if it was diamond chain or camshaft itself, but we were running pretty good. He would have finished up in the top 10, which would have been a pretty good run. But he never came back to the pit area. I guess he got into one of the wreckers or whatever and got in his passenger car and took off. And one thing that's pretty impressive about it, he had already won 3
the Indy 500.
Indy 500s.
Oh my!
And the very next race he ran was the Indy 500, and he won it for the 4th time.
Holy cow! Is that right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Good guy.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah. So that was the one time that you dealt with Al Unser Sr.?
Yeah. Yeah, I went and did some road, some crack testing in Atlanta Speedway with Kenny Bouchard, and A.J. Foyt happened to be there.
Oh, no kidding.
Testing too, so I got to know him a little bit. But
that's good. Another warm, fuzzy kind of guy.
Still going.
Yeah, he's like 89 years old now, and you can't kill that guy. Just a tough old Texan. He was attacked by a swarm of bees a while back, and they thought that was going to do him in, but he ended up coming back from that.
Killed all the bees,
He
right?
killed all the bees, yes, sir, with pure meanness. That's for sure. We're going to take another real quick break, and we'll be right back with Vic Kangas, everybody.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Daytona Flea and Farmers Market is still the one for great savings and the best variety. Whether you need flowers and trees for your home or you're looking for great prices on Daytona Beach souvenirs, the market is the place to go. The market features 1,000 booths, 2 air-conditioned malls, a restaurant, and 9 snack shacks. Hop's Grill features gourmet burgers and garden blend salads. Treat yourself to a great variety of brat and hot dog creations at the Dog House, or enjoy a refreshing drink at the Seltzer Oasis. The market is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and is 90% undercover, so you can shop rain or shine. There's never a charge for parking or admission. Enjoy our monthly classic car cruise-in on the first Saturday of every month, and garage sale weekend, the 3rd weekend of every month. See all we have to offer at DaytonaFleaMarket.com or like us on Facebook. Discover Daytona's most unique shopping experience, the Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, just a mile west of the Speedway. We're back from where it all began, racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host Buzz McKim and co-host Rich Combs.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate that, and we're coming along real good here. We're getting some great stories from Vic, and you know, it's so neat to be able to have folks like this here. I mean, this guy's a treasure, and you know, his story isn't widely known, but you know, hopefully we'll be able to get that name out there and get that reputation going, and you get the props that you richly deserve.
Well, you know, I'm sorry, but you know, we're doing this every week. We're bringing in the legends, and they're here at the North Turn. This is a great place to be. Good food, good drink, good friends.
Yep.
Everybody should come in. All those people who are listening today, but they're not here, they don't know what they're missing. I want to spend some time with this guy after the show, shaking his hand and hearing more stories.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
I mean,
you're not kidding.
Great place to be.
Absolutely. That's for sure. Yeah, this segment's being brought to you locally by Homewood Suites by Hilton over on Bill France Boulevard. The lovely place. They're good people, and they treat us real well. And if you have anybody coming to town that you want to kind of impress, you can hook them up with a suite there. Every room is a suite, and they have great breakfast, free breakfast, super duper, and also a great happy hour too. So you might want to check into Homewood Suites by Hilton. And so much for the commercial. Now let's get back to business here. Did you ever work with Lenny Bowler?
Yes.
Yeah, he was quite a guy. He was a natural-born genius, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, he proved it multiple times.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a lot of good drivers, you know, and Bugsy and that and Ronnie and Leo Cleary. And
oh gosh, yeah, yeah. And his cars looked like raggedy old junkers, didn't they? He wasn't much of on aesthetics.
Yeah, but everything was correct.
Yes, everything was correct.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yeah. I enjoyed working with him. Oh. It was only on a couple of occasions, and that's when Ronnie came back from cup racing. He would drive for Lenny, you know,
really?
on and off race or something.
Right.
Maybe a midweek race and
yeah.
that type of thing.
Did you work with Bugsy at all?
Yes,
Bug
I
Stevens?
did. I rebuilt 2 of his cars in
oh, really?
1973.
Really? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I worked for the car owner there, Sonny.
Car, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. In fact, I think that car still exists, doesn't it?
Yeah. I worked on the Coupe and the Vega, both cars.
Yeah. Well, he could make it run, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Boy, he had a real big, hard, heavy right foot. Yeah, and he could just put the gas pedal through the firewall.
Bugsy came into the shop one time when I was in there beating the heck out of some rear springs.
Yeah.
I was re-arching them,
and
he says, "What are you doing?" I told him what I was doing, and he said, "That doesn't help." I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. When you race next time, you can put your foot to the floor and you tell me how it works."
How did you know that, though? How did you know how much arch to put into the springs? Is it just something that you feel?
Yeah, well, we bought brand new springs, took them apart, and then re-arched the new ones to get what you needed, because you ran different amount of leaves on the right side than the left side.
Okay.
And you could preload leaf springs. You got 4 corners when you get that under the rear end.
Right.
So you got a left front, front end, and all that type of stuff. So you can load those tips of the springs the way you want to make it do what you want.
I'll be darned. See, how would you know that? That's amazing. You didn't go to school for it.
No, I made brackets where you could drop the front spring corners and change the height of the front corners. And it would preload if you had too much preload, the car would push too much.
Oh, really?
So you could unload it, you know, and move it up a hole or whatever.
That's amazing. Now, you got to be worth your weight in gold to a team.
Oh, yeah.
It's just amazing. Things that most folks wouldn't even think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, how about Eddie Flemke? He was another great chassis man, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Did you ever work with the Flemke front ends?
No, never did.
No,
that was my competition.
I
I wanted to beat him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came up with a front end assembly, which was pretty interesting. They did away with the old cross cradle springs, and he cut them in half and put a screw jack on each side, and you could jack the left and the front. And pretty ingenious, really. But he was another guy who just knew how to do it.
Yeah.
That was an English way.
Yeah.
Those guys in England figured that one out. He saw that from somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were the original front leaf spring arc guys, and they ran really good.
Yeah.
And if you've ever driven one of those Cobras and stuff in that day, shoot.
Yeah, really?
It was like being in a wagon.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Did you ever run dirt very much?
I did build a car for a guy that ran dirt. 1966, I built a car for Ernie Gahan.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he was national champ.
Yeah, in 1966.
Yeah.
With that car.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. I've seen that car, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
It's still around.
It's a 3-window.
That's right. Yeah, red and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys got it and restored it, and it shows up at the different car shows.
Oh,
We've got Larry here. Larry, you got a question for us, don't you, buddy? Hey,
Yeah.
Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Hey, sorry to keep you waiting there,
Hi,
buddy.
Vic, and welcome to the show. Before we get started, before I ask my question, though, I'd like to say that we started the show talking about legends of racing and lost a couple people. I'd like to mention rest in peace to Dick Trickle. 11 years ago today, we lost Dick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 11 years
darned.
today. So I'd like to say rest in peace to Dick. Vic, you had a great career. I know you raced with both the Bichards, Ken and Ron. a lot of other famous people, do you have a special moment that maybe something that surprised you, maybe a win that you didn't expect, or a special moment out there with one of those guys that really piqued your interest?
Well, Ron Bouchard, he went Winston Cup racing in, I think it was 81. In 84, he ended up working with some Bush cars. They didn't call them Bush cars. They were sportsman cars.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Jack Beebe and some of his friends ended up having a sportsman car, and Ronnie ran it at Darlington. He sat on a pole in a spring race and won the race, and then in the fall race he won the pole and won the race in that too.
Holy cow.
But I had made some front end adjustments on that car that improved it, so I think that I might have had a little something to do with those wins.
I would say so.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty big deal to get him to win 2 races.
Really? Was it tough to set up for Darlington since you had 2 different radius turns?
Yeah, that was, yeah. The thing that I worked on was Ackerman.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with how that works, but
No.
that was the big deal of the day for me. And you can have either too much or too little, and the way I did it is I took the left hand steering arm off and brought it back to the shop, reworked it overnight, brought it back in the morning, and it seemed to do the job.
I'll be darned. That's neat. Got one more commercial break here, folks, and we'll be right back and wrap it up with Mr. Vic Kangas.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Welcome to Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. You're right in the middle of all the action. Daytona International Speedway, the airport, One Daytona, Florida's newest entertainment and retail destination, and of course, the world's most famous beach. You'll love our newly remodeled 1 and 2 bedroom suites, along with our popular King Studios. You won't need your full kitchen, as Homewood Suites Daytona serves up complimentary breakfast and evening social. It's like home away from home. Go to HomewoodDaytona.com for Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host Buzz McKim and co-host Rich Combs.
All righty. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate that. Hey, I was wondering, they always talk about how tough it is to set up for Pocono with the 3 different turns and everything. How would you set a car up?
Well, I've won that race.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, tell us about that.
Yeah, Tim Fedewa ran in 1998. He ran for Base Motorsports.
Oh, sure.
And I was his crew chief on that car, and that was one of the races that we really ran good in. We qualified outside pole and won the race.
Wow. Yeah, Tim Fedewa is a chef, too.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a chef. Isn't that something?
I know he was a spotter for Harvick for a long time.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah, he sure was. But, yeah, you would just take probably the turn that you were the strongest at and then set up for that turn?
Well, it was an overall thing. It was all about the front end geometry again. You know,
Right.
I had some special spindles that I liked, and I used them on that car, and it seemed to work
Special.
out. Yeah.
We wouldn't ask you why they were special.
I don't know. I think I got a picture of Tim here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Yeah, that's that Pocono's got to be a tough one though. But yeah, Tim is well, he came from a racing family too.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Uncles and father and whatever, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well, I've got a question closer to home. You know, we're hearing about all of your successes and all the things you've done, and it's magnificent. But a guy of your capacity, you're doing a lot. Sort of give us a rundown on a week of being the crew chief, coming to a big race, coming to Pocono, coming to Atlanta or Daytona. How'd your week work?
Well, we didn't give up working on the car. I mean, you'd start Monday back at the shop, and you had to go like heck on getting the car ready, especially when we worked out of Connecticut. When I worked with Ronnie, we lost a day and a half probably traveling.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so whatever track you were going to, you had to make sure that everything on the car was pretty good. You know, that was a tough deal. I'm glad that when we moved to Charlotte, it did simplify things for the crew.
Yeah, being in Connecticut, it made for some long days, didn't it?
Oh boy, yeah.
Jeez.
When I got hired by Jack Beebe, I drove to Connecticut from Daytona. I never even went home.
Really?
I left. My wife left me off there and drove the car back to Massachusetts, and I started my job.
I'll be darned.
I think we need to get your wife on the program and talk to her. I think she could tell us some good stories.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bet you.
Yeah,
That's
you just
for sure.
slipped one out on us there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So how hectic was it in your lifestyle? Were you able to spend time with your family, or do you have to force yourself? I mean, a race car driver wants to work on his car. He wants to make it better every moment. He wants to try something else. Were you stuck into that, or?
Well, in my early years, I spent a lot of time with my family. We used to go fishing, and I owned boats and whatever, you know, to make sure that we all did stuff together, you know. We even did BMX racing.
Oh, good.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's not like we, but as soon as we went cup racing, that separated stuff a lot, you know, and I wasn't really connected to the family so much. I mean, other than talking on the phone every day, you know, but yeah, I didn't like that. And then when I got the job working for Billy Dingman on a road course deal, that was a much better solution.
Sure.
I really enjoyed that quite a bit.
These guys today haven't made. They only have to come in like maybe Thursday, sometimes not even till Friday. You know, and I think they even have a one-day show sometimes too. You know?
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. One of the times where we enjoyed ourselves was we ran Trenton. Ronnie drove for Dick Armstrong, and we finished second. Bodine won the race, but if the race would have lasted a few more laps, Ronnie might have won because Bodine had a clutch that was slipping. But Ronnie told me, he said, if it lasted any longer than it did, he said his arms were ready to fall off. See, we didn't have power steering back then.
Oh, was that right?
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
And the car was handling good, but the way I set up the front end probably wasn't correct for the embankment, you know,
right?
Because it had a lot of G-force and put a lot of weight on it.
Yeah. Plus, you had that right-hand bend in the backstretch there.
Yeah,
now,
dog leg.
Yeah, the dog leg. How in the world would you set up for something like that?
That car worked perfect.
Good deal. Good deal.
Now, Dick Armstrong, you mentioned him. He's a pretty flamboyant kind of guy, wasn't he?
Very nice guy.
Yeah. Didn't mind putting money into racing, huh?
I went to his shop and with my family one time, and we ended up being there for 4 days.
Really? I'll be darned.
He just wouldn't let us go home.
Jeez. When they ran the modifieds here for a few years, he came up with these real slick aerodynamic Pintos, I think they were.
Yeah. I think Hop Harrington was the catalyst behind all that stuff. Very nice guy, and I enjoyed working with him too.
All right.
Yeah. A lot of good people.
Yeah. Well, that's great. You ought to write a book. You ought to get Lou Boyd to put a book together for you.
He probably could do something, yeah.
I'll guarantee.
Either that or Bones.
Yeah, Bones would do it.
Yeah.
Bones Borsier.
Well,
what a great writer. Yes, sir.
To our fans that are out there, all the people who are listening here today, you can go on YouTube and see when Vic was inducted into the Northeast Race Drivers of Northeast Automobile Racers Association Hall of Fame. And Ron Bouchard is the one that does the speech on that. And that's all on YouTube, and you can look at it. I called it up to take a look at it. And for us guys that are getting older and emotional, it'll almost make you cry. You can feel the love that's in there between you two. That was a great thing to see. So I invite all of you to do that.
That's for sure. We got a few folks we've got to say thank you to for all they've done to help put this on. We've got Danny over there on the board doing a fantastic job. And we've got Mike walking a little gingerly this week with his applause sign. And got Tom with the other applause sign there. And
Tom.
Tony and Larry, thank you for your questions.
Hey.
And we've got old Richie Bertellum, a boyhood friend of mine. He came all the way from Gainesville to see us today. And we appreciate that. World's greatest guitarist, too. And he won't say so, but I'll say so. He's the world's greatest guitarist. It's amazing. And we just thank you so much. Joe, we're going to be missing you here pretty soon. Joe McGovern's going to be going back home, back up north. That's unfortunate. And we've got our legend Olin Hopes here, who's there to keep us all straight. Absolutely. Yeah. So next week, we got something really cool. We've got the Crankin' A's coming, and it's a Model A club. And they're going to bring the whole club and all their cars are going to be here. Going to have a car show out front. And it should be really neat. They're going to come and be a part of the show. So that's next Friday. If you're around, come on down and check out the Model A's. They really do a beautiful job.
Good deal.
Yeah, that'll be way cool. We'll have a good old time there. Vic, we can't thank you enough for coming down and joining us. It's been an honor to have you. And who knew, huh? This guy, he's a legend.
Ormond Beach, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Local boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I enjoy doing this show every time, so.
Oh, that's great. Well, we thank you so much for being here. You really make it special.
Thank you.
Yeah. All righty. We'll see you next week, everybody.
The Legends of Racing radio show.